Hello, welcome to the Self-Myofascial Release class. For this Self-Myofascial Release class, we're going to be focusing on the lower body. We're going to start from the feet and go all the way up to about the hips and glutes. So I have with me today a foam roller. This is like a medium length one. They make ones that are shorter, ones that are longer. The longer ones are nice. If you have a little bit more, you'll have a little bit more room then for like the hips and glutes. The shorter ones, you can still use, you just might not have as much surface area to roll around on. You'll have to adjust it a little bit more frequently. This one's just a basic foam roller. It has some give to it. It's good if you are just beginning to use foam rolling. They do have different kinds with like rows of like nubs that are a little harder. So those are going to be more intense. It's all personal preference. These are pretty inexpensive and you can buy them from like drugstores like CVS, Rite Aid, or even Walmart and Amazon online. I think I got this one at a drugstore, so I think it was maybe like $15. There's also some other tools here for different areas of the body. This one's really nice for the foot and then also the lower leg. They also make self-myofascial release or massage balls. This one's called a peanut. It has two connected together. They also make single ones. You can also use an expensive, again, tennis ball. The tennis ball, again, is going to have a little bit more give, really good for when you're first starting out, where these guys are going to be a lot more dense and intense. You also have options to get handheld tools if you don't want to be using your core or arms on the foam roller. So this one I have here, there's 3 little balls here with nubs on them. Of course, you're controlling it, so you can make it as intense as you want. There are different kinds. There are smoother ones without the nubs. There are ones that just look like a rolling pin, like you're making pizza dough or something, rolling pin. That's just straight across. So there's different options again for the handheld ones. This is just the one that I happen to have. So we'll start in standing. If you want to grab your tennis ball or massage ball or whatever you have here that you want to use for your feet, you can. And you can pick whichever foot. I'm going to start with my right here because it's closer to the camera. And the key with my self-myofascial release is you're going to slowly roll, like as slow as you can, maybe like a 1/4 inch or a centimeter at a time, just to find a tender area and then pause there. And you'll hold on that tender area for about 30 seconds, breathing through it, or until the tenderness subsides a little bit. Sometimes it can take a minute or longer, just depends on how your body reacts. But basically the muscles will contract initially, where you'll feel that tenderness. And then as you hold, it helps to trigger the brain to say it's okay to relax. So then eventually the relaxation response will kick in and the muscle will relax a little bit and then you can move on. So that's kind of what's happening here while we're doing this. So you can have your heel on the floor, toes are up, and you can start here at this, like the sole of the foot or the ball of the foot here. You can roll around a little bit. Maybe go right underneath the ball of the foot, starting to get into that kind of meatier area of the foot, I guess you could say. And you can just slowly, you can lift the heel off the ground, maybe rolling on the arch. And then once you find a spot, and if you need to with this, you can hold onto a chair or the wall for some balance, since you are balancing on one leg almost, just to be safe. So once you find that spot, you can stay here or you can lean forward a little bit into it if you want. press into it, and just hold here. And just kind of breathe. With every exhale, maybe try to soften a little bit into the tool. This is really nice if, rather than just sitting on the sofa, if you're watching TV, you can just do some self-myofascial release instead. And I'm not going to actually go through this as slowly as you would. I'm just demonstrating here, so I will be going through this a little quicker since I'm not doing it for myself. I'm showing you. So you can do that like maybe in a couple or 3 areas on the foot, and then you can switch feet, do the other foot here. We always want to even it out, doing both sides. If one side of your body is particularly more tight, spend more time on that side, but you always want to even it out for sure. All right, so we'll come down onto the floor here. And to work on the lower legs, we'll be on our backside here. And we're gonna I'm gonna take the foam roller and show you the foam roller here. So again, I'm starting with the right leg. It's closer to the camera. You can start with whichever side is better for you to start on, maybe the one that's tighter. And when we're doing a self-myofascial release, we're focusing on the meat or belly of the muscle. So if you feel around, it's your body, you can feel around, touch wherever you need to kind of figure out what's what. So down towards the heel and then behind the knee, we want to avoid, or not heel, around the ankle, just because there's not much meat there. There's blood vessels, nerve endings. It's a very delicate area. So just stay in this meaty part here. You can feel around. You'll feel there's a lot of muscle belly in certain areas. So take the foam roller, place it on the muscle belly here. Our leg is just sitting on the foam roller for now. You can lean back on your hands and you can roll, again, centimeter by centimeter. And you can start kind of like down further, right above the ankle, and roll. If you don't want to lift yourself up and use your arms, you can always just move the foam roller with your hands. You can rotate your toes in and out, maybe find different areas on the inside and outside of the lower leg that need some work. Again, when you find that area, pause and hold. If you want a little bit more pressure, you can lean forward, and that'll put more pressure onto there. Or you can take the opposite leg, cross it on top of the one that's being massaged, and then that'll give it some more pressure there as well. Again, find that area, and you can do this a couple times on the lower leg. And then once you do that, switch to the other leg, do the lower leg. So coming into the hamstrings, we can stay in this position. We'll just move the foam roller up right above the knee here. So we'll start like right above the knee in that meaty area. And again, you can, bend this other leg with the foot on the ground, lift yourself up and roll this way. Again, this is using shoulders, core, that sort of thing. So you can do that, or you can move the foam roller, place it, maybe rotate in and out, find a spot. And you can bring it all the way up, if you need to find a spot, you can bring it all the way up towards the sit bone here. So there's like, kind of like the very bottom of the glute area. That's the attachment where the hamstrings are. Again, if you want more pressure, you can either straighten the leg that's on the foam roller, or you can cross your legs over for more pressure, or you can sit up a little bit. Different options to get some more pressure on those different points. So that's working the hamstrings a little bit there. Work both sides. Now, let's do the glutes next, since we're already sitting here. So you'll want to come up and sit on your foam roller, have your hands in back of you, just so you're steady. If you're sitting up here, you don't want to wobble off. So have your hands behind you here. We're sitting on the foam roller, and we're kind of like right here on the tailbone area, maybe like a little further up. You don't want to hurt your tailbone. And what I do is my feet are flat on the floor, and again, I'm going to work the right side. You want to make sure you have some room here on the foam roller, so you might need to just scoot over a little bit. And then we're going to cross the left ankle over the right thigh. If you can't get here, or this is too intense, you can always just cross your ankles, and then we're going to lean over towards the right. Okay? So again, feeling our body here on this very outer part of our leg, we can feel, especially up here, the femur or the thigh bone. And then right here, there's like a ball. That's going to be your greater trochanter. That's part of the femur. So that's your bony area here. And then you'll start to move up, feel some meaty part here, going into the hip and glute. There's that meaty part, gluteus maximus, medius, minimus. Lots of muscles in this area. And then you'll feel your hip bone, okay? So, you know, feel your anatomy, feel where the bony parts are, feel where the meaty parts are. You want to be in that belly of the muscle again. All right, so when you lean over, and you'll feel if you're on bone, but look for that meaty part of the muscle, the belly of the muscle, and that's where you'll want to be. And again, you can start down towards that greater trochanter or the thigh bone, the top of that, and you can slowly roll up, maybe find a spot. You can shift a little bit side to side. Sometimes if you come up a little bit more towards that hip bone, you can almost come all the way onto the side here, getting into the side hip. And just holding wherever you find a spot. And then you'll come back up to your sitting position, shift off to the other side, and then switch feet, roll off to the left, and then find some areas to hold. To come off of your foam roller, you can just sit up, move it out of the way, or you can just roll until your glutes come back to the mat. And then you can roll it out of the way. So use the foam roller there on the lower legs and the hamstrings. You can use other tools like this guy here. It's made for like the foot and lower leg. A little bit more intense, denser. You can bring it into the hamstrings. Hamstrings are hard. It's just an odd area to get into. So you might not feel it as much with self-myofascial release. Tennis ball, again, it's more specific. So with the hamstrings, you'll definitely lean more forward, and it's more specific spots. You won't be rolling, but you can move the tennis ball around and wiggle. And then same thing with lower leg. You won't be rolling too much. It's more of moving it to different areas just because it's such a small surface space. All right, so before I show you the quads here, or the front of the thighs, I will let you know you can use a handheld self-myofascial device, and you can easily do this in a chair as well. You start like right above the knee, and you can feel where's the belly of the muscle, the meaty muscle parts. Above the knee, you don't want to go on the knee. And again, slowly, centimeter by centimeter, you can roll it up. You can come all the way up to this hip area. You'll feel like up here there's some meaty areas. And again, if you want to press and hold, you can hold here with the palms of your hands. If you're in a chair, you can bring your forearms down and lean into it, wherever that spot is. So that's another option. But if you want to use a foam roller, you're going to have your foam roller to the side. Again, I'm going to demonstrate with the right. I'm going to have like a really loose right leg after this. And my left leg is going to be like, what the heck? So to come into this, you want to come, I'm actually going to move this for a second. You'll come into a plank position with the knees So it's kind of almost like tabletop, but we're bringing the knees back a little bit here. Okay, so we're in this plank position, and we'll just shift our foam roller, and we want to have the left leg free. So the foam roller is going to go right above the knee, lean into that there, and then you're going to lift that right knee off the mat, okay? So you're engaging those quads just a little bit to lift the knee. And then I'm gonna turn around here so you can see what my left leg is doing. Lean onto it, lift that knee off the ground, and then the other leg, my left leg here, my knee is gonna come up a little bit so that I have some more support. And I'm really leaning off to the right on the front of that right thigh here. And here, again, starting right above the knee, we can start to shift back very slowly. Now, as I shift back, my left knee is coming up a little bit more. So if I need to, I can readjust, bring that left knee back a bit as I roll. Again, finding a spot, holding. If you need more pressure here, you would straighten both legs out into a plank position. This will put more body weight into that area. Again, this is using a lot of core. It's using a lot of arm and shoulder here. So if you're not quite there yet, definitely use handheld device. And you can, again, shift all the way back, bring in that foam roller up into the hip area. So right up into there, you can absolutely bring it all the way into this area. Just be mindful of the bone, you'll feel it. It's a little bony protrusion. And if you want to get into the IT band, I'm going to shift here. Let me see how I want to show you this. So the IT band, you'll start in that position here like we're doing the quads. But we're going to roll all the way over, and you can bring your left foot down. So we're just taking the left knee, bringing it up and putting the left foot on the ground here as like a little kickstand. So you'll be completely on the side of the right thigh here. Now, IT band's very intense. It's very sensitive. So listen to your body. If it's way too intense, you can't breathe through it, it's painful, use the handheld device. This is a lot for me even. And as you can see, it's like almost a side plank position, so it's a lot on the shoulder. So you'll definitely want to make sure shoulder is right over the wrist. So as you move, you see how my arm's coming at an angle, you do want to keep that wrist under the shoulder to protect the shoulder, and shifting your leg back as well. Same thing if you're in a plank position, okay? If you start to shift back, bring your hands under the shoulders as well, so you're not doing anything funky like this or this, okay? That puts too much pressure on the shoulders. So we want to keep good alignment. All right, so that is self-myofascial release for the lower body. We hit pretty much everything from the bottoms of the feet all the way up into the hips and glutes. So play around with that. Definitely look at different tools. If you can find them at the store, you can, be able to see them in person, feel them with your hands to see how dense they are. That's a really good option. Online will have many more variety, but shopping in person, you'll be able to actually feel how dense they are, especially with foam rollers. How squishy is it? That sort of thing. So play around with that, see what tools you like. Maybe try out different tools in different areas. And again, keep good alignment and just stick into the belly or meaty part of the muscle, staying away from any delicate areas like behind the knee, behind the ankle, and then also on bony areas.